gentlemen, welcome to Mini Mental State Exam!
Mini Mental State Exam!
Yeah!
The mini mental state exam is one of the tests that's used to measure cognitive impairment. So it's used both in a clinical setting, it can even be administered at home, and it's used in research. So in a lot of studies on Alzheimer's disease or dementia, you'll see the mini mental state exam come up as one of the common measures. And it starts with fairly big questions or simple questions for someone who does not have cognitive impairment.
First question, what is the year?
2021!
And then it goes into more questions to test memory or to test attention.
Remember these 4 words: home, hair, life, mind.
So there's some drawing that you can do. There's very commonly like the clock drawing test. And in the dementia performance, we sort of took it to an absurd level because often people with dementia or people with cognitive impairment who come into the doctor's office and have to respond to all of these questions, it can be really intimidating, it can be really embarrassing or frustrating or just uncomfortable. And so that's a little bit of what we wanted to show with sort of being on trial in that scene. It was also to look at cognitive reserve and the ways in which cognitively stimulating tasks and education, especially higher levels of education, are associated with delayed cognitive decline. So even someone who has Alzheimer's and who has the pathological changes in the brain related to Alzheimer's disease might not show cognitive impairment as fast if they have a lot of cognitive reserve. So if they have had a very cognitively stimulating life, it's also often related to socioeconomic factors, obviously. And so in that scene when Heidi is being turned on her head, yes, it's still the mini mental state exam, but we're also looking at the ways in which reading and learning languages and learning music and so on can support cognitive reserve. So that came out of a little art science piece that was created at the start of this project.
我在北京社科技系建筑的建筑师。
Ce numéro-là de Cognitive Reserve, il y avait une des prochaines dames qui nous disait justement quand ton être cher est diagnostiqué, il y a aussi une pression de toujours stimuler le cerveau, être là pour la personne. Donc oui, c'était absolument ce numéro-là basé là-dessus.
How is Heidi feeling?
I don't... she's okay, I think.
Great!
There's a crucial part in that scene where the game show host, Jeremy, is not letting her answer the questions, and he's just referring to the people who are holding her.
Comment ça va son sommeil?
Elle est littéralement juste là, demande-lui.
Bonne idée!
So that little scene came out of discussion with caregivers of people with dementia.
Yvonne had mentioned that when she speaks to people, they will talk to her and not ask how Tim is doing. So as a caregiver, she's like, well, ask him like he's right there. Like it might be longer to answer, but it makes me think of the what we were talking about earlier, the Parkinson, and how you have to slow down and taking that time to communicate and really like lock eyes with the person. But we don't necessarily have those kinds of conversations. So it's faster to be like, so how's Tim? So we can, get to the next patient or, get on with our lives. And yeah, he's great. Okay, next.
It's a weird habit that we have. People, we see someone maybe like with a problem and we kind of like, oh no, we can't speak to that person.
Yeah.
It's a weird habit that we have. So I think to emphasize the way that we react to people that have the disease would be interesting as well.
Yeah. So I think that's what I mean too, is like maybe having a lesson in there of like, you know, I think personhood and agency are really important words for people with dementia too. And yeah, having a little mini lesson of like how incongruent it might be if you're just asking the caregiver or and then versus asking that person.
Yeah.
Of course, it's true that with dementia, particularly the later stages of dementia, verbal communication does become more difficult. So it's important to have a caregiver there, but there are moments where we just defer to them without really considering the person with dementia as a human who has emotions and who can still respond about how they're feeling.